Okay, so I'm going to show you now how to um, key out a green background from a piece of studio recording. In preparation for this, we filmed a multi-camera setup recording where I did some introductions to the topic that I'm talking about. My topic is documentaries, so for example, let's just have a quick look at this. So obviously what I'm looking for here is the bit that I'm presenting. So here we go. And then just there, if you see that little look there, obviously if you are marking stuff with a marker, you would have a clapperboard here. I'm just basically looking for where the start of this film is now.
Tenacity of documenting filmmaking.
This is what I need. So I'm starting with the tenacity. So I hit I to get my in point, press the space bar, and then I find this introduction to 4 documentary films that I'm going to show that are from the 1970s, 1980s, and they have influenced documentaries in the 2000s, and obviously I will be cutting to some VT that explains that. What I do want to do though is in the background here I want to put some graphics. Now what I've got in terms of my graphics is I've got here a screen recording of a Prezi presentation that I've made before. Okay, so as you can see, it is literally just a screen recording. If you're recording on a Mac, you can use QuickTime to take a screen recording. You simply go to QuickTime and you go to File and New, and you hit New Screen Recording. You can draw a box around exactly how I'm doing here. If you're working on a PC, you will need to record your screen by hitting Control and G. It will then give you the option to record a game and it will record your screen. This isn't as effective though, and obviously recording on a Mac looks better. However, this one was recorded on a PC, and as you can see the video looks fairly good and it gives me some graphics, and these are the 1980s to 2000s. This is what I'm talking about in my presentation. So I'm going to mark this one as well. So I want this to go from here, and in the background of what I'm talking about I want it to then scroll through in the background. So this is my background stuff, okay? And I'm going to hit O for my out point when it gets to my out point, and that could be rolling around in the background while I'm talking. So firstly, you select your in point, so I for in, O for out, where you want it. Drop down your graphics. Then you would need to go back to the clip here, where I've got my in and out points already set. I drop that in above the graphics. Now you'll notice here that when you record in the TV studio, it records all these audio tracks. Now I don't need all these audio tracks. In fact, all I need is the one where I'm talking, which is here, which is audio 2 and audio 3. So what I'm going to do is if you press the Alt key, you can select the audio separately. And I'm just hitting, pressing Alt while I click on the stuff that I want to delete, and pressing delete, and it will get rid of that, okay? And the delete is the backspace delete key that I'm hitting, that you can now hear me hitting. When you record in the TV studio, there are other audio tracks, as you know, because on the audio mixer you'll see that there's more than just one track. The one that we want is the one that's recording the microphone, which is here. Now it is quite quiet, so I will need to bring up the volume on that. 2 ways of doing that. One is just by simply turning it up to 6. So you click on a track here and you should see the overlay that is the audio. If that overlay there that I just moved up and down isn't the audio, press Control and click on your thing, and you can go to on your track here, and you can go to Show Clip Over keyframes. So you've got volume there, level, and you've got panner, which will go from the left speaker to the right speaker. I just turn the volume up, so you can then see the level of that. It's a lot louder now and a lot better, although I do still need it to get more like up to here. So if I want to then make the audio even louder than that, I can actually go to my effects, okay, and I can put some audio effects on it, right? So here I've got my volume and I've got my level. At the moment it's at 6 and I can't go any higher. So what I would need to do is actually have a look at the effects for the audio and actually add myself some more. So if I go into this tab here, I've got my audio effects here in a drop down menu, right? So in terms of if I apply an EQ, so just drag EQ into that, then you'll see that under the tab up here, Effect Controls, what I have now got is under Audio Effects, if you scroll down here, you'll see that I've also now got my should have my EQ, which is this one. Okay, I want to set the individual parameters on this. Okay, and the output and the gain I need to then turn up. So what I can do is just boost that up.
That may otherwise have
You'll see that that's now a lot louder.
1980s Britain as it is today around the world.
And that should be loud enough because it's just kind of going around there. This level here, 0, is the line level. If it goes over that, it'll go red and it'll peak. But
now the following films...
Now I've turned it up to that level, it's okay. You might want to check somewhere here where the highest point is.
Back then.
And then that will show you whether it's going to peak or not. It's not at the moment, so that's fine. I'm happy with that. I don't need the sound from my Prezi presentation, so I've got rid of that as well. So all I've got here is my movie channel. Okay, under the movie channel, I've got the Prezi presentation on this one. And if you double click on any of these tracks, it'll show you what you've got there in the viewer. So how do I get rid of this green background then? So I need to go to my effects up here, and it's a video effect that you're looking for, and it's key. So go to your keying control, and you've got various different keys here, like alpha adjust, color key, ultra key, track matte, all this stuff, luma key. Because we're using a green color, we can just drag in the color key. If you then double click on it, again go up to here and go to effect controls, you'll then get the key. At the moment it's set to blue. So what you do is you get your color picker, okay, which is this one, and then you click on the green. The green should then sort of disappear, but you will need to adjust the parameters. So the color tolerance, you can see there, if I get rid of the color tolerance, it's getting rid of all the green, and it's just leaving me talking over my background, okay? So this is the kind of presentation that I want to create. Okay, so that's, if you like, how you key out the background, okay? Obviously, like with everything, once you've finished doing it, and this can then be inserted into my piece, and after this presentation, it will then cut to the actual thing. So let's just see what that looks like.
The tenacity of documentary filmmakers to alert us to pressing issues that may otherwise have been left undiscovered was as present in 1970s and 1980s Britain as it is today around the world. Now the following films, which have been sourced from BFI's Britain on Film collection, are from this time, yet some of the themes that their creators confront us with are as relevant now as they were back then.
You'll notice that the actual Prezi presentation stops here. So what we could do is we could just copy that. So I'm just clicking on it, Control C to copy, or if you're on a Mac, it's Apple C or Command C, the CMD key, and then you can just paste it there. Okay, so then I'm just going to drop that in. There it is. Okay, so yeah, what we've now got is we've now got a piece to camera where I'm talking about stuff, and we've got some graphics in the background that show what I'm talking about. Let's just make it nice and neat and
the tenacity of documentary filmmaking.
Okay, and then obviously I've got my final film ready to go. This is one clip. I hit the in point on the sequence by clicking, go to the beginning of the film, click I for in, go to the end of the film. Obviously needs to cut before that, so
that their creators confront us with are as relevant now as they were back then.
And obviously at that bit, it's quite a nice place to end anyway, because it's got this question about how documentary filmmakers reflect and influence social, political, and environmental issues. So yeah, we can have that
from
stuff
BFI's Britain on Film collection are from this time. Yet some of the themes that their creators...
Now what I want to do is, because I'm talking about it
BFI's
Britain Film Collection, what I'm going to do is...
as it is today around the world. Now the following films, which have been sourced from BFI's Britain on Film collection...
So where I say BFI's Britain on Film Collection, I'm just going to move the Prezi back here and then go to that original slide there where it shows the films that I am then going to show a montage of, okay? So all of these sort of 80s documentaries, and then they're modern contemporary documentaries that have been influenced by them, okay? So this one, for example, Blood I Go Run from the 80s has influenced this Generation Revolution documentary of 2016. So yeah, anyway, the main point about this is that's how you would green screen out your presentation. Once you're done with it, like I say, just go to the beginning of your sequence, press I, then go to the end of the sequence and press O for out, okay? Because I'm going to then edit it together with a montage about the documentaries, I will probably just leave that as a separate clip now, and then I will use it to edit. If you want to do any more tweaking on the green screen, so thin out these edges, for example, just simply click back into the clip itself. There it is with the green. Go into effect controls. Go to your color tolerance. You can either turn it up or down, and you can tweak this really, really minutely. Okay, so I mean, I'm quite happy with it on 19 for this effect, but you can see as I move it up and down how it affects the film itself. And you can also thin the edge. The edge thin is like this. That's where you get that kind of green thing. So I'm going to leave that there, I think, because yeah, and then that's keyed out, obviously, the background there. Okay, so there you go. When you're ready to export your film, you simply go up to File, and then you export what you've got. Go to Media. You're exporting the sequence in and out. Okay. The output name you can change. So this is my documentary. Spell it right. Keyed, because it's been keyed, so I know that. It's part 2 of my past, present, and future presentation, and documentary is what it's about, and it's been keyed out, so I'm going to export it out. Okay, just export it to your documents folder and then move it wherever you need to move it. It's going to be a video file. Click save. That's fine. .mov. Make sure you've got your presets right. Ideally, what I would want to do is have it in H.264 format. Okay, and yeah, that's fine. It will come out as a MP4. Okay. Other formats are available. You can do it in QuickTime. It does give you a preview of what it looks like before you export it out. Generally speaking, the UK format is PAL, but as you can see, just by default, generally, it would be good to export as H.264. It's generally then supported by loads of stuff. What I want to do with this after is put it onto YouTube. So in terms of accepting a file as YouTube, YouTube will accept MP4s, and I know that, so I'm going to export it. So we go export, doesn't take very long, 30 seconds, and then once it's exported, it should be as a standalone file that I can then move into my my folder with all my other files. I can then put it back into Premiere Pro. I can then edit it together with my montage of documentary films while I put a voiceover over the top. Okay, but primarily when you want to do a studio piece, key out the background. That's how you do it. Okay, great.